Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to my next location. If you're new here, my name is Priscilla and I am a new Seattle-based flight attendant working with a major US airline company. And on this channel, I share my flight attendant journey. And in today's video, as you've seen in the title, I will be reacting to my October 2023 schedule. We are going to go through from start to finish what I received initially, the changes that I made, and what I plan on doing moving forward as well. So without further ado, let's just slide right into it. Starting off with what I bid for. As usual, I bid for high time 3-day trips, so nothing below 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 25 or more. And then also with 2-day trips, I bid for high time 2-day trips as well. Also with that, I noticed that these days we've been having 2-day trips that are worth 16, 17 hours. Remember, these credit times are base specific, and for my base, because of where we're located, the geography of my base or the location of my base is a huge factor when it comes to these credit times, because we're very far away from all the other parts of the country. So if the trip is built strategically, we tend to get really high time trips, and I've seen 2-day trips that are worth 17 hours and 16 hours and stuff like that. So I became quite aggressive with my 2-day trips request, and I requested for high time 2-day trips. So nothing below 15, nothing below 16, nothing below 17 or even 18 if that exists. I haven't seen that yet, but that's the first thing that I bid for. And also I avoided domestic trips by default. I always do that because our international trips or our transoceanic trips, those are like trips to Europe, Asia, among other things, those are worth over 20 hours. So when I avoid domestic trips, I'm in a way telling the system to give me high time trips, which may potentially be international trips. I'm not against it. And then the other thing that I avoid are 1-day trips as well. The reason why I don't want 1-day trips is because even though you can get high value 1-day trips, and we have 1-day trips that are worth 11 hours, we have some that are worth 10, but they will take up my schedule in a way that I don't want it to. I'm yet to get to that level where I might potentially, I do want to test it though. I do want to get to the point where I bid for 1-day trips only to see if I get it and what I get and how best I'm able to work that month. But by default, I avoid 1-day trips. I only want 2 days and 3-day trips. That's all I bid for with regards to the trip days. With regards to the days that I do want to work, I bid to work Friday, Saturday, Sunday. As I mentioned in my September video, this month for October, I limited the number of days that I wanted to be scheduled for, and I limited it to Friday, Saturday, Sunday, which means I bid to avoid working Monday to Thursday. So those are the things that I bid for. Did I get what I bid for? That's the big question here. Did I even get anything close to it? So let's slide right into that. Out of all the times that I've bid for my schedules, this was the actual month that I got literally everything that I requested for in terms of the days that I wanted to work and the days that I wanted off. Because of the number of weeks in the month, ultimately I knew that with one of the weeks, I will get scheduled on the days that I did not want to work. So I know that already. So that's not a hit. So as you would see on the screen, I did get like 98% of my schedule work days being what I requested for. So you will see that all my trips, except for the first set of reserve days that I have, were all between Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So that's perfect. It means I was to a large extent granted what I wanted during that period. In terms of the credit times of trips that I wanted, I did get 3-day trips, and the trip you see on the 21st to the 22nd, that's a lean over. So that's like a 1-day, but it's not a true 1-day. For the 3-day trips that I got assigned, which was on the 13th and then also the 27th, they were all high time trips. So one was over 19 hours and then the other one was over 20 hours. So I got that. And then I did not get any 2-day trips this time around. What I got was a 1-day trip, which was a lean over, and then my reserve days as well. So ultimately the schedule is like perfect. If I did not have any other plans to make changes to the schedule, it was actually on par or close to what I actually requested for. I did get the days off, majority of the days off that I wanted. So it's pretty cool. This was what I got straight from the system, like straight from PBS, straight from scheduling. This is what I got. If I decided to work this schedule the way it was and not add or take anything away from it, I would have had 16 days off. So I was only scheduled a total of 14 days, including my reserve days and everything. Once I got this schedule, plans changed. You know, your girl was like, you know what? I want to take a trip in October. You know, your girl wants to travel. So what I did was that I ultimately moved things around just to create the space that I needed to take my my trip. This process is still in progress in the sense that I'm still going to try and consolidate my trips as much as possible so that I can create more room. But as you see on the screen right now, I have about 14 days that I can utilize. However, I still plan on moving things around just to consolidate as much as possible. So now that we've seen what I was given, let's slide right into what I changed and what my schedule has now come and what I plan on working if I am unable to move anything else around. So the first thing I did was to move the second set of my reserve days forward. So instead of it being on the 6th to the 4th, so that I can get 6 days straight of being on reserve. And then I also moved the trip that I had on the 27th to the 29th. I swapped into a different trip between the 8th to the 10th. So this is why I always say that your schedule is not fixed. What you get is not the end all be all. It might take a lot more work to move things around to get to the point where you get what you want, but our schedules are not permanent. Like, it's very, very fluid. And even with what I have now, if for whatever reason I change my mind and I no longer want the days off that I'm trying to get right now, I can move it around again. That's one of the things that I loved about this job so much, is the fact that I have some level of control over what I work when I work to a large extent. And then the lean over that I had between the 21st and the 22nd was also in the way. So I decided to move that forward as well. So I moved that to the 16th and the 17th. Once again, it's a lean over. Even though it's a one-day trip, as I've noted on the screen, it's not a true one day. A true one day will be when you go in the morning, you come in the evening, or you go at a certain point in time, you come back the same day. But lean overs typically go overnight, so you're actually like working kind of sort of like a red eye. Starting off one day, you lay over for a short period of time, so you get the less than minimum rest, because our minimum rest, I believe, is 12 hours. It's okay, but personally, I don't like it because it's actually taking up 2 days. And like I said, I'm trying to take a trip and I'm trying to consolidate my trips as much as possible. So whatever I can do to create room on my schedule, that's the goal for this month. After I moved everything around, I ended up with the 6 days, reserve days straight for the first week. And then in the second week, I have a 3-day trip, and then I get 2 days off, and then I start another 3-day trip towards the end of that week, which leads me into the third week. And then also I have a lean over following that. So two things with regards to that lean over, I would either swap that and get a true one-day trip, or I would rather swap that into a good high time or high credit 2-day trip. The other thing also is that I might potentially put a one-day trip on the 11th, which is following that 3-day trip, because I'm trying to work only 2 weeks or 14 days out of this month. Potentially what I plan on doing is to put in as many trips during that period. So that's about it. This is all that I plan on working so far. Potentially I might work this the way it is if I'm not able to get the changes that I'm looking for, the final tweaks here and there that I'm looking for, but ultimately everything looks good. So the next thing we're going to talk about, since we've spoken about where I am with my schedule and the changes that I made right now, let's slide right into discussing the monetary value and the credits of these trips that I have for the month. The reserve period is worth little over 28 hours, which has a monetary value of $963.60. The 3-day trip that I eventually ended up with between the 8th and the 10th of October is worth 20 hours and 26 minutes, which has a monetary value of $877.24. And then following by the other 3-day trip that I have, which is worth 19 hours and 40 minutes, that has a monetary value of $841.58. And then the lean over, or the one-day trip that I have, which is worth 7 hours, and then it has a monetary value of $276.57. Remember, once again, all these monetary values that I'm sharing right now do not include my boarding pay or any other additional pay. So this is subject to change. But right now, the total monetary value of this schedule is $2,958.99. Remember, for that amount of money, for that $3,000 that I'm about earning for this month, it includes reserve days that I haven't been scheduled for. If I get scheduled 2 sets of 3-day trips that are worth 20 hours or more, that would increase the monetary value for those reserve periods. And then also for the 3-day trips that I have, boarding pay hasn't been included yet. Any sales made on that flight hasn't been included. And then also any additional pay has not been included yet as well. And I might potentially pick up more trips as well. This is for a new flight attendant, somebody who new to the company. Your starting pay being $33.81. I'm already close to $3,000 and I have 17 days off. off. I am barely working 14 days or 15 days. So out of October, right now, if I stick with what I have, I will potentially be working 14 days in that month, earning $2,958.99 and having 17 days off in that month that I can go on a trip. This is my schedule reaction for a Seattle-based new flight attendant working with a major US airline company. Once again, if you made it this far, it means you like the content, so tap on that subscribe button, share your thoughts in the comment section below, and give the video a thumbs up. See you in my next video. Bye-bye.